I'm going to show you how to upload a file to the chat window in Copilot Studio and have the agent do something with it. This is a technique that a lot of folks want to learn, and I'm going to show you the easiest way to do it. Let's take a look at the agent that I've built before we start so we know where we're going here. I'll start off by typing the words analyze document into the agent, and this is going to trigger a topic. Then I drag and drop the file into the chat window, send it on over to the agent, and then behind the scenes the agent is using a prompt action to analyze this document and extract key details. So that's one of the ways that you can do this with a topic. But this video is kind of a two for one. I'm also going to show you how to upload a file completely topicless. That's right, completely topicless with generative orchestration mode. So if you think that's pretty neat, stick around to the end of the video, and I'm going to show you both ways to do this. Let's take a look at the agent that we're going to build. So if you're in Copilot Studio, go and start a brand new agent and name it the file upload agent. And we're just going to give this agent a pretty brief description. The agent will receive a file from the user in the chat window and perform actions on it. We don't need to do anything other than that. We're just making an agent to consume files. We don't even need any instructions. So that's pretty much it right there. Before we go and create our topic, let's take a look at the document that we're uploading and the agent is analyzing. I grabbed this file off of the web. It is a request for proposal document. So when a large organization like the government wants a company to build them something, they put out a request for proposal, and construction companies or other types of firms can read this document and understand what it is that they're bidding on to do for that large organization. And what we're going to do is extract key dates and deadlines from this request for proposal or RFP, perform a bit of analysis on it. So I think that's pretty cool, pretty useful. Let's head back on over to our agent and create our first topic. I have to delete this file upload topic right here though, because that's what I was using to demo the agent to you. Let's start a brand new topic from blank, and let's call that topic file upload. Now, like all topics, there's a trigger, and the trigger is going to need a description so that the agent knows when to start the topic. My description is, this topic will analyze a request for proposal, also known as an RFP. And that little acronym is important because users are going to type that into the chat. Users love acronyms. And extract key information such as deadlines. Then after that, you'll remember the agent said, hey, can you please upload the PDF file? And we're going to do that using a question node. So add a little question node right here. And for the text of the question node, we'll say, please upload the request for proposal PDF to the chat window. Great. But how does the agent detect that a file has been uploaded into the chat? How does it know that it's received a file so it doesn't just move on to the next thing? Well, we do that by using the identify property of the question node. And when I click on identify, you can see all of the different entity types or things that the agent can detect. What we want to do is we want to choose the file entity type. And now when a file is uploaded into the chat window, the agent is going to know that it's there and that it can do something with it. We should also change the name of this variable because var1 is not very descriptive. Should never leave your variables with their default name there. Great. Now, the next thing that we're going to do is feed our PDF file into a prompt so it can be analyzed, right? No, that's wrong. We're not going to do that. We want to do some data validation first. We want to make sure that the file passed into chat is of the correct type, PDF, and that there's only one of them. This little identify field right here can't do that, so we have to build it for ourselves. And the way we can see what file has been uploaded to chat and its properties is by looking through something called the system activity attachments table. Say it with me again, system activity attachments table. So before we go building that logic, we should take a look together to see what exactly is in that system variable. So I'm going to go build a Power Effects expression, and I'm going to type in the word system, activity, attachments, and this is a table, so I think what I'm going to do is, I'll just click insert, and we're going to see if it displays a table in the chat. Okay. I'll hit refresh here. I've saved my topic, so I can say analyze RFP. Then we're going to take a look for my little file there and drag it into the window. And what's going to come back in the chat here? Okay, that's right, this stuff, and it looks like it's booting up again. Don't worry about that, we're not done here. Okay, so right here we can see a JSON table, and it has a couple of key pieces of information in it. Number one, we got the content type here, which is application PDF. That's pretty helpful. We've also got the name. And another thing that you'll notice is that, this is a table. So if somebody uploads more than one file into the chat, it's going to have like many file objects in there, not just one. And we can use this to our advantage because we want to make sure that there's only one file uploaded for our question and for our purpose. Okay, so let's head back to our topic and continue building here. So how are we going to build that logic to make sure that only PDFs are uploaded and there's only one of them? Well, we're going to do that with setting a variable. Okay, we're going to name that variable something new. We're going to call it is file extension PDF. Pretty good name, right? Says exactly what it does. And then we're going to write a formula. And for the formula that we're writing, we're going to write system activity attachments, because that's the table that we want to look at. We want to grab the first file inside of that table, and we want to look at the name value, because the name value is going to have .pdf at the end. Something else I also like to do here when I'm doing comparisons is converting everything to either upper or lowercase. That makes sure if something's wonky with the file, if someone puts it uppercase, lowercase, mixed case, that you're not going to have any issues with trying to detect it. And then the last thing we want to write here is ends with .pdf. Ends with .pdf. So we had our file name, I think it was something like pws-fencing.pdf, and this formula detects whether there's a .pdf at the end. So that's one of the checks we're going to do on our file. The second check that we want to do on our file is to make sure that there's only one of them, because users can upload multiple files into the chat. We don't really want them to do that for what we're doing here. I'm going to call this variable is file count equal to 1. And then I'm going to write a formula, and it's going to also use system.activity.attachments. But here I'm going to do a count rows. And we're going to see if that array is equal to 1, or that table is equal to 1 row. Press insert. Okay, so now we've got our variable values. Next thing we need to do is write some branching, right? Write some if statements, write some logic to tell the agent what to do when something goes wrong. So I'll scroll down and I'll add a condition. I'm actually going to add 2 conditions here because we have 2 variables set up. And the first thing that I'll check is the file extension PDF equal to, what do you think this is going to be equal to? Check whether it's equal to true. Nah, whether it's equal to false, because we want to run our error handling when it's not a PDF file. And remember, we were doing a comparison to see if the file ended with PDF. If it ends with .pdf, then that variable is set to true, otherwise it's set to false. If the user doesn't upload the right type of file, we'll add a message node here to tell them what went wrong. So here we'll say the uploaded file is not a valid PDF. Please try again. And then we can direct them back to that question node again with a go to step. And here I just go back up to the top and click on my question. So now if I scroll back down here, you see, okay, it's not a PDF. The uploaded file is not a valid PDF file. Please upload the request for proposal. So it's going back to that question node right there. Let's write the second one and let's test whether this is working. So our second variable that we're going to put in here is file count equal to 1. Should also be checked to see if its value is false. Because if it's not one file, if there's not one file in the chat, well, there's 2, there's 3, there's 4, there's more of them. There's more than we want. We will put another little message right here. Multiple files were uploaded. Please try again and only upload one file. And that's a pretty good message that'll allow the user to know what to do, what went wrong. We'll also put a little go-to step action in right here. Okay, so now we've hopped back up to the top of the question. And then in this third all other conditions branch, we're going to send a success message to the user to let them know that the PDF file was properly uploaded. So here we'll put PDF file received. I am reading the request for a proposal right now. One moment, please. Okay. Let's hit save and let's do a test or two on this agent. Okay. We'll hit that. Then we're gonna type in here, analyze PDF. And the agent says, please upload the request for proposal to the chat window. So we're going to drop a file in here, and you'll notice that this file is ending with .xls. That's an Excel file. That is not what we want, but the agent is working well because it's guiding the user into what they should do. So let's try this another way. Analyze PDF. Should trigger the topic again. And this time I've got 2 files in the chat window, 2 files. So what's the agent going to do? It says multiple files were uploaded. Please try again and only upload 1 file. A little bit of a spelling mistake there, but no problem. Then let's just drag and drop the file in there one more time. And when we press the send button, it says PDF file was received. And it's triggering the topic again because we're not done building this out, but don't worry about that. It's not going to do that in the end. Okay, so now we've built our file validation. And here's where we move on to the next step of actually going to build a prompt. And because I like to make sure things are 100% perfect, got to do a small typo correction right there. Okay, so to analyze this file, we're going to create a prompt. And to do this, we go to Add a Tool, and then select New Prompt. Okay, so this is the prompt window, and you might be familiar with it from using it in Power Automate. We're going to start off by giving this prompt a title. We're going to say MD get deadlines from RFP file. And then we have to give our prompt some instructions. So this works just like a Chat GPT prompt or your M365 Copilot. When you type a prompt into the chat window, it does something, gives you an answer back. And in this case, it's going to give us an analysis back of a file. So I've written these instructions here in advance, and let's take a moment to read them together. Objective. Your goal is to read a request for proposal document and identify all project-related deadlines. The agent's instructions are pretty simple. Number 1, read the entire request for proposal document and identify all deadlines. Number 2, determine what items must be delivered for each deadline. And number 3, output all deadlines in a bulleted list. Do not include any other text. Then we've also provided the output format for the dates that are going to come out of this. I see right here that the agent is defaulting to GPT 4.1 mini. I'm going to put this back to GPT 4.0 because we do need to use 4.0 right now to analyze documents. That's a requirement of prompts. Then I'm going to erase that little bit and click Add Content. And here I'm going to say we want to use a file type of input. And we'll call that RFP document. I can even upload one as a sample if I want right here to go ahead and test the prompt. So when I did that, it kind of jumped to a completely different window. Let's hit open there, PDF, okay. Hit the test button. And this is just going to test our prompt to make sure that it's likely to work with the agent. So we'll give this a second to run, but it should be done in pretty much no time flat. And there you go. That's exactly what we wanted. Get the deadlines from an RFP file. We will hit save, and then we'll close this prompt window. Great. Okay. So now that we've created this prompt, we can go and select it. Actually, we don't need to select it. It's already selected right here. What we need to do is to input our file variable. So VAR PDF file. Good thing we named it because it was pretty easy to pick out. And then we're going to name this variable something else. Not var1. We're going to name it prompt output. Great. So now the agent is able to take an uploaded file. It checks whether it's a PDF, whether there's just one of them or more of them. And after the validation's done, it sends it to the prompt. And the last thing we need to do is show the prompt output to the user. So I'll add a message node, and then we should be able to see the prompt output variable in this menu right here. Doesn't look like it's there. So what you should see is something that says prompt output.text. I think Copilot Studio is just having a bug right now. So by the time that you're done watching this video, it should appear in this menu, but what we'll take this opportunity to do is a little bit of YAML surgery. So the doctor is in. Let's go open our code editor, and we'll scroll down here to the message node. It's called send activity. And then we'll type topic.prompt output. So this is a topic variable. The variable's name is prompt output. And then since it's a record variable, we need to choose the property of it that we want to display. So in this case, it's .text. And I just know this from doing it all before. Okay. So we'll close this screen there. YAML surgery is done. We've sewn the patient back up. And now we have our topic. That's great. So we can go ahead and test our agent. Let's open up the agent. Let's trigger the topic, analyze RFP. I've got my PDF file waiting for me right here. Okay, we'll drop it into the chat window. Click the send button. Wait for that to display. It's thinking. The prompt is analyzing what's inside the file, and it comes back with some dates. Awesome. That's perfect. Okay, so I told you that in this video I was going to show you 2 ways to do this. The first way to do this was triggering the agent with the topic, having the agent ask the user for a file, then going to do something. But what if you just want the agent to trigger a file upload anytime there's a file placed into chat. That's something that you might want to do, right? So let's just go back to our topics again and do a really short example in a slightly different way. And I'm going to delete this one. That's right. We're going to start this again. Start a new topic from blank, and we're going to call this one file upload, just like before. And instead of using a trigger type of the agent chooses, we're going to change this to something else. We're going to change this to an activity occurs. So there's many different trigger types here. We're going to choose an activity occurs. This means that the agent is going to trigger the topic anytime the user pastes text or a file or an image or pretty much anything into chat. Pretty much anything to chat. It's not going to rely on someone having to type in analyze a document or RFP. But hold on a minute, that's not exactly what we want. We want to make sure that this topic triggers only when a file is placed into the chat. So to do this, we need to change the agent's properties, the trigger properties. So we open up the trigger properties, we'll change the condition to formula type, and then we're going to write a short formula here. The formula we're going to write is system.activityAttachments, because that's where the attachments are found inside of agents. Then we'll write is empty as our test. So is that attachments table empty or not? But we want to do a not condition in front of that because we want to do it when the attachments table is not empty, when it has files. A little bit tricky to write that logic sometime. So we hit insert, and now our agent is only going to trigger when a file is uploaded to the chat. Let's do the next step here and send a message. Let's let the user know what's happening. Let's let the user know that the topic got triggered. I'm going to write starting the file upload for file name. Okay, so the user has dropped a file into the chat, and we want to let them know that something is starting to happen with the file. And we want to let them know the file name, but how do we go and get that? Well, we got to write a PowerFX expression. We'll rely on the system activity attachments table again. We will look at the first record in there, and we're going to grab the name. And hold on a minute there. You can see there's all sorts of different properties inside of the attachments table. So here we're going to take the name. We'll press insert. I know in our last example, we did all sorts of interesting validations of the file before it started to get processed. But here we're just going to skip that step because we've already covered it. But you probably should build it into your agent that you're working on for your workplace or at home. So I told you we were going to do something a little bit different here, and this time we're going to upload a file to OneDrive. Another thing you could do is upload a file to SharePoint. It's pretty similar. I just wanted to show something a little bit different here than our first example. We'll go ahead and we'll add a tool. Here we'll click on connector, and I'm going to choose the create file for OneDrive connector. We'll hit submit there, and the connector action is going to show up. Then we have to set the connector actions properties. And to do that, I'll click on one of the little tags right here. Okay, so where do we want to save this file? That's a good question. When I click on this folder, it looks like it's not able to fetch the details of the folder, so we're going to have to go to OneDrive and figure this out manually, and that's okay. So we're going to go to Working, My Files, and let's go to the Upload Files demo. We'll delete the file that's in here right now. And now we have an Upload Files demo folder. So we can just type in upload demo, upload files demo. For the name, you saw how to get that from the previous action. So we'll type a formula. First, system, activity, attachments, and then name. And for the file content, how are we going to get that? Because we don't have the var PDF file variable like we did before. No problem. Here we can just type another formula. So similar to before, first.system.activity.attachments dot, wait for it, content. Great. And you can see that the type here is type blob. So that means that we're going to be working with type of file. Okay, so there's no warnings, no errors there, so that should be perfect. Then after this is done, we want to send one more message back to the user, and we want to tell them that the file was successfully uploaded. And do we have any fun things in here we can add? Yeah, so we could probably go ahead and add the file path, so we can see it was uploaded to file path. And I'm not exactly sure how that's going to look, but we're just going to give it a try here live on the video. Oh, wait, there's one more thing we have to do. We need to go to the bottom of our topic and add an end all topics action. Because if we don't do that, the agent is going to respond with the message after this one inside of the chat, and we just don't want it to do that. Okay, let's hit save here, and let's go and test our agent. This is exciting. We will drag and drop the file into the chat. We will click the send button. Okay, the file's in there. It says it's starting to upload the file to that path, and oh my gosh, that was so quick. It just uploaded it right there instantly. Okay, and if we go over here, yep, it uploaded the file a few seconds ago, so it looks like this is all working. So that's our agent for today. We saw two ways to upload a file to an agent Copilot Studio. Number one, using a question node, and number two, using an activity occurs trigger with generative orchestration. Hope you liked it. That's it. That's the video.